The hose was already through the window when I heard them moaning again. I stood by the septic truck, gripping the lever. One pull. That's all it'd take. She cheated on me. With her boss. In that very apartment. And now I was about to baptize them both in raw, unfiltered revenge. I yanked the lever. The pump roared to life. Inside, I could hear the chaos start. A thud. A scream. Then the splashing. Madison's voice shrieked from inside. What is this? Oh my God, what is this? You remember your wedding week? I do. I was supposed to be tasting cake, picking up the suit, getting ready to marry the love of my life. Instead, I was flooding her lover's home with 600 gallons of human waste. Let's rewind 24 hours. It was a Sunday. I'd just gotten home from picking up the final set of engraved invitations. My mom was crying tears of joy on FaceTime. The caterer had just confirmed the last-minute changes. Everything was perfect. I decided to surprise Madison with brunch. A little I love you gesture. Picked up her favorite, almond croissants, and that overpriced green juice she pretends to like. I pull into her complex, walk up to the 4th floor, and hear music. That's not weird. She always listens to music when she cleans. But it wasn't her usual playlist. It was The Weeknd. You know the kind of songs I'm talking about. The ones you don't clean to. The ones you grind to. I pause outside the door. Something's off. I knock lightly. Nothing. I twist the knob, unlocked. And then I open it. The scene hits me like a truck. There she is, Madison. My fiancée. Wearing a black lace bra I've never seen before. Straddling Ethan Cooper, her boss. Shirtless. Hands all over her. She sees me. And you know what this woman does? She smirks. Doesn't even try to cover up. Just sits there, like a goddamn queen on her throne of betrayal. Oh hey Kyle. What are you gonna do? Cry. Ethan laughs. That arrogant, chiseled bastard laughs like I'm a joke. I just stood there, frozen, staring. My world didn't crash, it shattered. Not because of the betrayal. No, I've seen enough in life to know people lie. It shattered because she wasn't sorry. Not even close. Madison climbs off him casually, walks across the room stark naked, grabs her robe, and ties it slowly, like she has all the time in the world. You weren't supposed to be here, she says, as if I walked in on a meeting instead of the filthiest thing I've ever seen. I wanted to scream. I wanted to smash something. But instead, I did the only thing that felt powerful in that moment. I said, okay. And I walked out. No tears. No shouting. No theatrics. Just cold silence. As I got in my truck, my heart was pounding, but my mind was clear. I drove aimlessly for a bit, trying to decide if I should call someone. But who do you call when your bride-to-be just turned into the nastiest liar you've ever met? I ended up in front of my business warehouse. I run a septic company. Kyle's Cleanouts. Yeah, it ain't glamorous, but it's profitable. And in that moment, it became my weapon. I backed up the biggest truck we had, Tank 7. Festival-grade capacity. Loaded it up, duct-taped the end of the hose, and drove straight to Ethan's luxury condo. No one looked twice when I parked behind the alley. I climbed the fire escape, found his window open, of course it was. Perfect view of his overpriced art and champagne bottles on the counter. I shoved the hose in, taped it tight, and now I was here, standing outside, listening to their perfect little life get drowned in everything they deserved. And as Madison screamed, and Ethan choked on the smell of karma, I smiled for the first time that day. I didn't go home that night, didn't even change my clothes. Just crashed on my buddy Chris's couch with the taste of revenge still fresh in my mouth. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and said, whatever you did, I hope it was worth it. I woke up to 43 missed calls, half from Madison, a few from Ethan, and the rest? Her mom, my best man, the wedding planner, and even her goddamn dog groomer. Everyone wanted to know the same thing. What the hell happened? And Madison? She left a voicemail I'll never delete. Her voice trembling, soaked in panic. Kyle, please call me back. I don't know what happened. The whole apartment, it's destroyed. There's something in the walls. Oh my God, it's everywhere. I know you saw us, but this is insane. Please, don't ruin your life over a mistake. We can fix this. A mistake? She called getting raw and sweaty with her boss in our wedding week a mistake. Not an affair, not betrayal, not spitting on everything we'd built for 3 years. Just a little oopsie. I blocked her number. By noon, photos started circulating. Someone in Ethan's building filmed the fire department hosing the place down. Brown sludge pouring out the windows like a scene from a horror movie. The news called it a biohazard incident. Social media called it Poopgate. By 3 p.m., Ethan's company suspended him. By 5, I got a cease and desist letter from his lawyer. By 6, my mother, my sweet, church-going mother, sent me a text that read, "What the hell did you do?" I didn't reply. I was too busy watching the video on repeat. The one where Madison was seen outside the apartment in nothing but a towel, screaming at the sky while covered in filth. People zoomed in on her face and posted memes. When you cheat and karma arrives in liquid form. I didn't laugh. Not really. But I didn't cry either. The next day, she showed up at my office. I was in the garage, checking the trucks, when the door slammed open and in stormed Madison, mascara-streaked, red-eyed, wearing one of my old hoodies like that would change anything. "You ruined my life," she screamed, stepping right up to me. I didn't flinch. "Oh, you mean your life is ruined?" "Not mine. You embarrassed me in front of everyone, Kyle. Do you know what people are saying about me? About us?" I raised an eyebrow. "Us? There is no us. You killed that in Ethan's bed." She blinked, hesitated, then turned on the waterworks. "I made a mistake," she whispered, voice shaking. "You were always so busy with work. He made me feel seen." I laughed, out loud. I couldn't help it. "You wanted to feel seen? I hope you enjoy being viral." She switched tones instantly, from tearful to venomous. "You're a psychopath. You need help. You think this is normal? You think this makes you the good guy?" I stepped closer. "No, I don't think I'm the good guy. But you? You're the monster in this story." She slapped me. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't sting. But the silence afterward? That was nuclear. Chris came in from the side bay. "You done here?" he asked. I nodded. "Yeah." She was just leaving. Madison stared at me, breathing heavy, like she couldn't believe this was happening. Like she was the victim. Then she spat on the floor, turned, and walked out, muttering something about lawyers. I watched her go, and for the first time since I caught her, I didn't feel angry. I felt nothing. Later that night, my best man, Jordan, called me. "Dude, half the guest list wants refunds. The venue is threatening to keep the deposit. And Madison's parents are saying you owe them an apology." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped the phone. "Oh, and by the way," Jordan added, "her dad's company was partnered with Ethan's firm. They just lost a contract." "Well," I said, "guess I'm not invited to Thanksgiving." 3 days. That's how long it took for her to flip the script. The girl I caught bouncing on her boss like it was cardio suddenly became the face of heartbreak on social media. She posted a photo of her swollen face, crying in bed with the caption, "Cheating isn't abuse. Retaliation is." It went viral. Thousands of comments. Mostly clueless strangers writing things like, "No one deserves that, no matter what she did. Men can't handle being cheated on. They always go psycho." And my favorite, "She's so brave for speaking out." Brave? She wasn't brave when she was half naked, laughing in my face. She wasn't brave when she asked, "Are you gonna cry?" But now, because I turned her lover's apartment into a live-action sewage exhibit, I'm the monster? Let me tell you what's real bravery. It's standing there, watching the woman you were about to marry spit on everything you built. It's walking away without raising a hand. And it's facing the world when it starts to believe her side of the story. You think I stayed quiet? Hell no. I posted one photo. Just one. A screenshot from the building's hallway camera. Timestamped. Clear as day. Madison. In a robe. Soaked in sewage. Storming out of Ethan's apartment at 2:18 a.m. Not crying. Not screaming. Just pissed. No caption. No rant. Just 3 words. Actions have consequences. The internet exploded. Her defenders screamed, "That's illegal." My supporters clapped back with, "So is betrayal." But the damage was done. She had the sympathy. And now she had lawyers. By Friday, I had a restraining order filed against me. Not because I threatened her. I never even texted her. But because she claimed I was unstable and dangerous. Dangerous? I built her career. I paid for her schooling. I stood by her during her mother's cancer. And now, because I didn't just swallow her lies with a smile, I'm dangerous? Her father called me. This man, who once shook my hand and called me the son I never had, left me a voicemail that said, "You've ruined my daughter's life. You humiliated us. You'll regret this." I saved that one too. Not because I needed proof, but because it reminded me what I was really up against. This wasn't about love anymore. It wasn't even about revenge. This was war. Madison knew exactly what she was doing. She started showing up in public with sunglasses and long sleeves, pretending she was traumatized. She gave interviews to gossip pages, saying vague things like, "He wasn't the man I thought he was." She let people fill in the blanks. And Ethan? That coward vanished. He took a leave of absence from his job and ghosted every social platform. Didn't defend her. Didn't defend me. He just disappeared like the greasy little worm he is. So I fought back the only way I knew how. I gathered screenshots, messages, photos, videos, everything. The time she lied about working late, but was tagged at a rooftop bar with her hand in Ethan's lap. The texts where she told her friend Kelsey, "I don't even love Kyle. I just want the ring. Once I lock in the wedding, I'll figure out the rest." Yeah, that one stung, but it also lit a fire under me. I didn't leak them yet. I didn't have to. I just sent them, anonymously, to one person, Kelsey. Within 48 hours, it was everywhere. Private group chats, forums, a Reddit thread titled, "Bride Cheats, Gets Hit with Ultimate Septic Justice." People dug into it like piranhas. They found her TikToks, her old vlogs, her engagement photos. Suddenly, the sympathy dried up. Now the comments looked like, "She deserves everything she got. Bro is the real MVP. You cheat during your wedding week? You earn every drop of sewage." Madison tried to delete her accounts, but it was too late. She'd lit the match. I just poured gasoline on it. The day the lawsuit hit my desk, I was eating a breakfast burrito. No warning. No call. Just a knock on the shop's door and a guy in a suit holding a manila envelope. "Kyle Bennett?" he asked, like he didn't already know. I nodded. "You've been served." I didn't even finish my coffee. Inside the envelope, 36 pages of legal poison. Madison was suing me for emotional distress, property damage, defamation, and, get this, career sabotage. Career sabotage? This woman got herself passed around by the same guy who signs her checks, and I'm the reason her life is falling apart? It was laughable. Until I saw the part where she was requesting $250,000 in damages and full access to any mutual assets, including my business. That's when I stopped laughing. I took a long walk. Thought maybe I'd call a lawyer, or better yet, just drive to the courthouse and throw myself at the mercy of whatever judge wasn't already scrolling through Poopgate memes. But then something in me clicked. No. No more hiding. No more playing nice. If she wanted war, I'd give her war. I met with a lawyer the next day, Vanessa O'Brien. Sharp, cold, no time for games. She flipped through the lawsuit, shook her head, and said, "She's building a media case, not a legal one. This is theater." "Then let's burn down the stage," I replied. First move, public response. But not from me. From people who actually knew her. I didn't ask anyone to defend me. Didn't beg for character witnesses. They came on their own. Her old roommate, Jen, made a post. "Madison once told me she only dates guys who own things." Her words, "If he can't build, I don't build with him." Another guy, Chris, from her old job, dropped screenshots of Madison flirting with him via DMs 2 weeks before our engagement. But the knockout punch came from an unexpected source. Her cousin. Yep, blood turned on her. He posted a TikTok titled, "Here's what Madison doesn't want you to know." In it, he laid out a timeline, with receipts, of her behavior over the years. Affairs, lies, a fake pregnancy scare with her ex to keep him around. Manipulation so casual, it was practically her love language. The video hit 4.7 million views in 24 hours. I didn't say a word, just sat back and watched her narrative implode. But Madison wasn't finished. She went full nuclear. Next thing I know, there's a piece on some trash gossip blog. Headline read, "Jilted groom is a domestic terrorist. Sources say he planned septic attack weeks before wedding." Terrorist. She really called me that. The article quoted anonymous insiders, probably her friends, claiming I had a history of violent outbursts, that I was obsessively controlling, and that I monitored her phone. Bullsh*T from start to finish. But the worst part? Some people believed it. I lost 2 contracts that week. A client called and said, "I'm sorry, Kyle. My board's nervous. We can't be associated with this kind of attention." I stared at my phone, felt the heat rise in my chest, and realized, she's not just trying to win. She's trying to erase me. So I made a decision. It was time to end this. Not with violence. Not with more sewage. With truth. And receipts. I met with Vanessa. We gathered everything. Every lie, every text, every proof of her cheating, manipulation, and staged victimhood. Then we prepared a countersuit, defamation, malicious prosecution, emotional fraud, and as a cherry on top, I submitted a formal complaint to her employer's board, including video evidence of her and Ethan during work hours in the office. Let's just say that HR wasn't amused. The wheels were turning. And Madison? She didn't even see it coming. I wore a gray suit the day we filed the countersuit. No tie, no dramatic speech. Just walked into the courthouse, handed the paperwork to the clerk, and walked out. It was silent revenge, the kind that doesn't need applause. My lawyer, Vanessa, smiled as we stepped back into the sunlight. She's not ready for what's coming, she said. She better be, I replied, because I'm just getting started. 2 hours later, the fire began. Vanessa dropped a carefully timed press release to 3 mid-size outlets. Not the big guys, just enough to get traction without making it look like I was desperate for attention. It outlined every claim in the countersuit, every receipt, screenshots, dates, witness names, and the most damning part? A security cam photo of Madison and Ethan entering a hotel at 11:37 a.m. on a Tuesday, when she was supposed to be leading a Zoom training for her HR job. The caption read, "Cheating is messy, so is lying about it in court." It didn't take long for it to spread. The same blogs that called me unstable now started adding question marks to their headlines. Was Madison lying all along? New evidence suggests septic avenger was set up. Bride's victim narrative crumbling under scrutiny. The comment sections flipped like a switch. People who once called me a psycho were now saying, okay, maybe she deserved the pump. Bro just took out the trash, literally. And Madison? She panicked. I knew, because I got a text. Not from her. From Kelsey, her ex-best friend. It read, "She's spiraling. Just showed up at my apartment screaming. Called you a media manipulator and a fake victim. I told her to leave. I'm done covering for her." Madison went quiet on social for 48 hours. No posts, no stories, no half-naked selfies with cryptic captions about healing. Then she came back swinging. This time, with a full-blown Instagram live. Hair perfectly done, makeup on point, tears strategically glistening. "Hey guys," she sniffled. I never thought it would get this far. I never wanted to hurt anyone. Kyle and we had problems. I made mistakes. But what he's doing now, this campaign to destroy me, it's not justice. It's cruelty. 20,000 people watched her cry in real time. She pulled out a tissue, dabbed gently. I was scared to say this before, but I think he needs help. Professional help. There it was. Not just painting me as the ex. Not just the angry groom. Now I was mentally unstable. Dangerous. A threat. She thought if she said it soft enough, the world would believe it. But this time, it didn't work. Because an hour later, someone uploaded the full hotel security footage from that Tuesday. Not just her walking in. Her and Ethan, laughing, kissing, her jumping into his arms in the elevator lobby. The footage came with an audio leak too. From the receptionist's desk. Receptionist. Room for Madison Lane and Ethan Cooper? Ethan, make it the penthouse. She's been a very good girl. The internet roasted her like a marshmallow at a campfire. Penthouse princess caught again. From HR to X-rated in 60 seconds. She cried on live, then got exposed on tape. And the memes? Unforgiving. A split image. On the left, her crying with tissues. On the right, her in a bathrobe, holding champagne in that hotel room. Caption, healing era versus hoeing era. Brutal. Perfect. And still, I didn't say a word. I let the truth do the talking. But behind the scenes, things were moving fast. Ethan's company officially terminated him. Madison's HR certification was suspended pending review. And guess who finally got served her own subpoena? Yep, Madison Lane. Vanessa handed it to her personally. She said Madison looked pale, like the blood had drained from her face. That's when I knew. She finally realized she wasn't the one pulling strings anymore. She was the one dangling. Courtroom 4C smelled like bleach and cheap perfume. The kind of place where lies go to die slowly. I was sitting at the defense table, suit sharp, eyes steady. Vanessa beside me, calm, collected, lethal. Across the room, Madison. First time I'd seen her in person since the day she stood in Ethan's apartment like she owned the world. She didn't look like she owned anything now. Black dress, modest heels, a pearl necklace that was probably meant to say innocent, hair tied back like she was attending a funeral, maybe her own reputation's. She didn't look at me. Not once. But I saw her grip the armrest like it was the only thing keeping her upright. Judge walked in. Bailiff called the room to order. This was just the preliminary hearing. A taste of what was coming. But Madison? She was already trembling. Her lawyer, some TV smile, smooth-talking clown named Randall Pierce, stood up first. Your Honor, my client has suffered emotional trauma, public shaming, and targeted harassment orchestrated by Mr. Bennett. She is not only a victim of property sabotage, but of an ongoing psychological campaign designed to humiliate her. Madison dabbed her eyes. Fake tears. No sound. Just a light tap with a handkerchief, perfectly timed. She has been doxxed, Randall continued. Harassed at her workplace, and Vanessa stood. Your Honor, we will demonstrate that every public comment about Ms. Lane was a direct consequence of her own actions. We have photographic, digital, and testimonial evidence of the plaintiff engaging in a sustained extramarital relationship during the week of her wedding. Furthermore, we will show the countersuit filed by Mr. Bennett is not retaliation, but necessary defense against defamation and reputational harm caused by deliberate falsehoods. Judge nodded. I'll hear both sides in full at trial, he said, then glanced at Madison. Mississippi Lane, do you wish to make a brief statement before we move forward? She stood up slowly, like a performer about to enter stage left. Her voice? Shaky. Practiced. Your Honor, I never wanted things to go this far. I made mistakes. I hurt someone I loved. But I never expected to be punished for it with sewage, internet shame, and a complete collapse of my career. I feel unsafe. I feel watched. I'm scared to leave my apartment. She looked at me. Finally. Eyes red. Lip trembling. Then she whispered, I don't want to fight anymore. Silence. Even Vanessa tilted her head, slightly impressed by the performance. I didn't move. Didn't flinch. Didn't speak. Because I knew what was coming next. Judge looked to us. Defense. Any objection to temporary mediation before the court sets a trial date? Vanessa smiled. Actually, Your Honor, I have a brief motion to present to the court. Supplementary evidence for the record. She walked forward, handed a folder to the clerk. Inside, photos, screenshots, a full transcript of Madison's live stream and the now infamous hotel footage. The judge read in silence, then looked back at Madison. Mississippi Lane, were you in the penthouse suite of the Hayden Hotel on June 12th? She hesitated. I don't recall. It's a yes or no question. Yes. With Mr. Ethan Cooper? Yes. During normal work hours? Yes. And you claimed, under oath, that you were leading a mandatory Zoom meeting for your HR firm at that time, correct? Madison's face cracked. For a second, just a second, the mask slipped. Her lip twitched. Her eyes blinked too fast. Then she said it. I panicked. I didn't want people to think I was a bad person. Boom. The judge nodded, then spoke directly into the mic. Given the contradictory testimony and new evidence, this court finds grounds to question the credibility of the plaintiff's claims. Mediation is denied. This will proceed to full trial. I looked at Madison one last time. She was shrinking in her seat. No more fake tears. No more drama. Just silence. And for the first time since this war began, I saw fear in her eyes. Real fear. Because now it was her life that was about to be dismantled. Piece by piece. 3 days before trial, Madison was falling apart, but not finished. She'd already lost her job. Her Instagram was gone. Her therapist probably needed a therapist. And still, she wasn't done. She had one last card to play. I found out about it on a Wednesday night. My phone rang. No caller ID. I don't usually answer blocked numbers. But something told me this one mattered. I picked up. Silence. Then a cold, polished female voice. This is Attorney Valerie Sharp. I represent Madison Lane. This is a final attempt to resolve the case out of court. I didn't say a word. My client is prepared to drop all charges in exchange for a public apology and a non-disclosure agreement preventing you from discussing the case further. I almost laughed out loud. A public apology? For refusing to eat betrayal with a fork and smile? If you refuse, she continued, we will be introducing new evidence. Messages from your early relationship with Ms. Lane suggesting emotional manipulation, coercion, even threats. We also have statements from 2 former coworkers claiming you displayed controlling behavior. She paused, expecting fear. But I didn't give her that. I tapped record on my phone and calmly said, "Tell Madison to wear black to court. It'll match the funeral." Then I hung up. The next morning, the media dropped a bomb. But it wasn't for me. Madison Lane's father resigns from Lane and Foster Logistics amid ethics investigation. Turns out her dad had backdoor deals with Ethan's firm. Contracts awarded thanks to Madison's little arrangement. Her whole support system was collapsing with her. For a second, I thought she'd disappear, vanish from public view, and live out the rest of her life somewhere quiet, faceless. But no. Friday morning, she popped up on YouTube. A soft-lit couch interview on some third-rate talk show called Heart Talks. There she was, Madison Lane. No makeup, white dress, hair in a humble braid. "I was young," she said, voice quivering. "I made mistakes. But no one deserves to be humiliated like that. I still have nightmares." She cried. Talked about how I neglected her emotionally. How Ethan understood her. How all she ever wanted was to be seen. It was her last shot at reclaiming the victim card. But she didn't know. I was already holding a royal flush. That same night, I posted my first and only live stream. No filters. No edits. Just me. One camera. One voice. I read the messages out loud. "Kyle's too soft to ever leave me. Once I get the ring and the honeymoon, I'll figure out how to make the Ethan thing work quietly." And another. "Imagine getting pumped twice in 1 week. Once by Ethan, once by Kyle's truck. Iconic." I looked straight into the camera. You wanted to play the victim. Now the whole world sees the script. The video hit 2.3 million views overnight. The comment section? Savage. Queen of gaslighting caught in 4K. Bro held onto the receipts like Thanos. This is why you don't date actors. By morning, every major blog had flipped. No more sympathy. No more poor Madison. Just truth. Brutal. Unedited. Permanent. She thought her YouTube tears would buy her back an ounce of dignity. Instead, they triggered the final meltdown. Her PR rep dropped her. Her only remaining brand deal, gone. Even her mother unfollowed her. Madison was out of cards. All she had left was one final courtroom appearance. And she'd be walking into it stripped of everything. Fame, image, lies. Me? I'd be there waiting. And this time, it wouldn't be about revenge. It would be about finishing the war. Court started at 9 a.m. sharp. Room 4C was packed. Journalists, bloggers, even 2 TikTok drama commentators sitting in the back row like it was the Oscars. I didn't speak. I didn't smile. I just watched. Madison sat across from me. Pale. Defeated.